This is Hero of Sparta, raised from birth to become the ultimate general. Under his command he has 432 fully upgraded veteran light Greek cavalry, 800 handpicked archers from the island of Crete, and a staggering 1,600 veteran Spartan hoplites, all of whom had been trained by Hero's father, Cleomenes, for as long as Hero could remember. So this is going to be a Greek cities challenge run on very hard with no battle time limit for the full long campaign. Now the only difference from the usual Greek campaign is that we only have Sparta. So Hero of Sparta here is going to be our main standing army. Hero is the only one allowed to expand and conquer. He is stuck with the army he has now. He will not be able to retrain, swap, or make any other changes to his force. The only way he can replenish his numbers is through mercenaries later on in the game. Settlements are allowed a defensive army if a general is present. If no general is present, only peasants may be trained. Defensive armies cannot leave their settlement unless they are travelling with a general or directly to another settlement that's a maximum of 2 turns away. In several decades, Hero's sons will be allowed to carry on the family tradition with their own armies. So long as an army is led by an of Sparta, it may stand and conquer. And so the goal of this run is to conquer Rome and most of the known world with an overpowered army that is only going to get weaker and more inefficient as time goes on. First off, we're going to want to try and do something about the economic sinkhole that is Hero's army. Costing us 7,770 denarii each turn, Hero is an expensive lad to fund. As we can see, Sparta is losing 6,850 denarii each turn, and while we won't be making money back anytime soon, we can invest the limited amount we have now to reduce our debt in the long run. So we'll raise the taxes to very high, which doesn't bother the public order at all because of a rather competent governor. And now to building. First off, we're going to want walls, because eventually someone is going to want to come and invade, and I'm not allowing them to just walk in. Next we have a port to increase the amount of trade and allow our ships a safe harbour as soon as possible. After this is a traders, once again to increase trade income within the city. Communal farming is next to increase the profits off of produce, and finally roads to increase speed and trade. A diplomat is next to actually get us trade deals with the rest of the world, and another unit of peasants to send off to freshly captured cities. Now we move our attention to Polydorus, the admiral of our fleet. His main purpose is to transport Hero and fend off the Brutii's early army, because they will be coming. I split off a couple of ships, missing on the positioning of the first one, but getting it on the second. Hero is moved over to Crete and we immediately besiege Kydonia. Before we assault, we're going to move some peasants over from Sparta, using the second split off ship to occupy Kydonia as soon as Hero is done. The remaining ships of Polydorus' fleet are moved into the Ionian Sea, closer to Italy to keep an eye out for the Romans. With nothing else requiring our attention, we could begin the attack on Kydonia. Kydonia is possibly one of the harder rebel settlements, seeing as they do have experienced Cretan archers. However, they are no match compared to Heroes. And seeing as we have an army strength ratio of 100 to 3, this will be a piece of cake.
A battle is never an easy thing to face, especially before breakfast. Never mind, time enough to feast when we've driven these dogs back to the kennel. Now, to arms!
With that riveting first speech from Hero, let us begin our deployment. So we will be keeping it to a rather simple battle line, 2 hoplites, 2 archers and Hero himself. We will group them together into their own group and move the rest of the army off down the hill to say hello to our ships that you can see just off the coast. Now we'll put them into their final positions, hoplites in the front, ideally protecting the archers in the back. We'll assign them their own group and do the same for the other pair on this side of the town. Hoplites in front, Cretans in the back, and grouping them together. Hero will hang out in the middle of these 2 groups to intercept any Cretan archers that will be outside the town. We will want to protect our archers like the literal gold they are, considering these are the best archers in the game. A quick look shows in front of Group 1 we have Hoplites and Group 2 has the Cretans, with the rest of the rebels in the central plaza. So we will send Hero in to take care of the Cretan archers before they do too much damage to my guys. Hero comes charging into the already under fire archers, cutting through them like a hot knife with hooves, although sustaining a little bit of friendly fire on the way, but annihilating that unit of pesky Cretans. Hero is then moved out to the back to avoid any more arrow fire, friendly or otherwise. We will then move Group 2 to advance on the plaza and start picking off the rebels, as we now focus on Group 1, who have been handling their militia hoplites very well, although these appear to be braver hoplites than most, as they have yet to break. Standing to the very last man, these brave hoplites bumble around on the spot until they all eventually fall to archer fire. Group 1 is then moved forward to start the assault on the plaza. With no movement from the rebels, we will move Hero around to the back, setting him up with some crucial flanking manoeuvres. Now we wait for everyone to take their positions. Group 2 is now in position to fire, and be fired on in return, unfortunately losing one of our Cretans. Hero is then sent in for the rear charge as everyone is facing Group 2, which is absolutely ideal for heavy cavalry right into the rear. The pirates and hoplites have run towards Group 2, allowing Group 1 to finish getting into position. And with that, Hero blows his horn and charges right into the back of the second group of Cretan archers. An attempt at pulling Hero back for another charge is thwarted by the man's bloodlust as he attacks the pirates, before successfully pulling back. Group 1 is now in position, firing down on the 23 remaining archers. However, we have lost a Spartan in this exchange. The pirates go racing towards Group 1, allowing Hero to go for another charge at the archers, taking them out once and for all. The pirates, however, sensing Hero's love for his archers, aim their missiles directly at Group 1's archers, taking out a painfully large number. Feeling Hero's wrath over the lost archers, they quickly break and flee towards the charging general, meeting their end at the man they slighted. Now only hoplites are left to defend this town, and they are being ripped apart by the arrows of the clearly superior archers of both groups. Whittled down to just the general, we weren't going to let the rebels out the easy way. Captain Epicurus would stand and fight until he was just a pincushion. Falling upon the bodies of his brethren, Epicurus goes down. Hero wins his first victory, though with more casualties than ideal, losing 13 Cretan archers in total. With Kydonia occupied, a governor's house built, and the taxes raised to very high, we can move Hero to our next target, Athens. The peasants make themselves at home, and the rest of Polydorus' original fleet make their way back to the main group.
Yes, Captain! No more moves, sir! Ready! Set sail! Out, sir! Ships ready!
With the remaining few coins, we recruit another unit of peasants before ending the turn, and beginning our decline into the wonderful world of debt. We begin the turn with the continued search for the inevitable Roman fleet, with little success.
Set sail! Ready to sail! Set sail! Set sail! Ready to sail!
Hero makes landfall in Athens and begins the siege, building 3 siege towers, one to use, the other 2 as spare, and to look very intimidating to the 3 people that are living in Athens. With a diplomat now available, we will go around the world begging for money via trade, starting with the Macedonians, who happily accept our request. And now we send the diplomat up north to be forgotten about until we remember him once more. A quick look at the start of turn notifications doesn't tell us anything that we don't already know, that we're leaking money worse than a colander, and we have the best army in the existence of forever. We'll just move the rest of our ships onto the Roman patrol and end the turn there. After a year of searching, we have finally found them, the Brutii fleet, no doubt coming to Greece for a peaceful, non-violent chat with us. With 3 biremes making up their fleet, we'll want to wait for backup before engaging the Romans. Polydorus is brought back over, ready to strike on the next turn, and the other 2 admirals position themselves to catch the cowards when they flee.
Ready to sail!
With the preparation done on his mighty fine siege towers, Hero begins the attack on Athens.
Attack! Day has dawned. Await my each tower.
To ensure that the towers survive their crawl to the wall, Hero instructs a unit of Spartans and archers to have a nice walk to the other side of the city, where the defensive towers had a blind spot. Eventually making it to the walls, the Spartans had a leisurely climb to the top, admiring the view of Athens before it would be sacked. Deciding that their archer friends must see too, they opened the gates up for them and began their tour of the city. The locals were quick to greet them, though their large pointy sticks were rather unexpected. Perhaps it was a local custom. The Spartans tried to go back and tell the archers about their discovery, however their pathing got a little stuck and they didn't really move much. They were, however, very eager to engage in conversation with the locals. Although the addition of the archers appeared to have intimidated the locals enough to send them home. The Spartans tried to follow their new friends, but because some of them were still on the siege towers, they ran into a building. Another group of locals tried to approach the Spartans, but were also scared off by the archers. Deciding to take matters into their own hands, the Spartans went to the locals. However, it appeared that they were no longer as receptive as they had been before. Deciding that they didn't like the locals all that much anyway, the Spartans poked the Athenians with their much longer, pointier sticks and showed them the true Greek ways.
Fear makes a home in our enemies' hearts.
Walking onto the plaza, removing the final pesky rebels, the Spartans were surprised by their lack of victory. Turning around, they realised they had forgotten about one last group. While they may have liked spreading out, their sticks bounced off the Spartans' armour and they were very quickly taken care of. With 0 casualties, the Spartans killed about 75% of the population on their way out, and lined their pockets with plenty of coins to try and help pay off the national debt. With Athens captured, Captain Hero, leader of a group of 2 units of peasants, made their way over from Sparta to their new homes in the recently cleared out and subsequently happier Athens. Hero of Sparta raised the taxes to very high, with what remains of the populace singing his praises. And with that, the turn ends, with our forgotten diplomat moving north. Cleomenes wakes up on the crisp winter's morn of 269 BC to Romans on his front lawn. He wasn't very happy with this and ordered an immediate attack. After setting a rear guard, Polydorus was happy to oblige with his leader's request and sent the Romans and the very peaceful delegation of armed men packing towards Turkey. Regarding the extermination of Athens, despite the fact the city would have remained in positive public order if Hero had occupied, it would not have stayed like that for long. With only peasants occupying the city and being unable to upgrade the city with its growing population, squalor would have quickly become an issue, and rioting would inevitably follow not long after. Better to nip this problem in the bud. Now, with one threat out of the way for now, Hero could finally turn his eyes onto his next target, Corinth, which seemed to have gained a few occupants while he wasn't looking.